Here we are in Blender, brand new setup. I'm going to open up Kid Called Beast website. You go to the hub, sign your wallet, and this is where you have access to your beasts. So I'm going to be working on 5999 today, and what you're going to need is the T-pose blend. So you just download that bad boy, and you're all set to go with getting your beast assets. Now back to Blender. I'm going to hit A to select all X and delete everything that's in there so it's an empty space. Yeah, at the T-pose, I believe, is a blend file. So you just open the blend file and it'll load in like so. I like to change to the third viewpoint over here, which lets me see textures, has no lighting. And then I'm also going to click on this arrow up here to see statistics. Well, we see now when I press A, this is all selected. We have like 548,000 triangles, which is huge. And we want to bring that down to like 10,000 triangles, possibly, to start. And so what I've learned creating these avatars in the beginning is there is kind of a best order to do things. And I think in my previous tutorials, I did things in an order that probably is not the best order to go. So I'm going to try to do the most efficient order to get this done today. And so in the future, I plan to add jiggle physics to this balloon. So this character, she'll be holding the balloon and it'll be bouncing around as she walks. But today, because time doesn't permit, I'm just going to do rigging and optimizing the avatar for use in the metaverse world. So for now, I'm going to delete these and have just this base character. And you see already removing the balloon brought down the triangles, about 50,000 triangles, which is a lot. The glasses I know are a lot. Like all props tend to be a lot. So one of the things you can consider when creating your avatar is, do you need the props? Do you want the props? And you're going to go to File, Edit, Preferences, and then you're going to click Install. And then you're just going to install that zip file. I already have it installed. Once it installs, it's going to have this little drop down here. And you need to just make sure it's checked. And then that will be the install. And then it's the same process for the VRM plugin setup. So you're looking for the zip files. Hope that solves it. All right, so first thing I like to do always, I believe this beast is ready to go, but it's something I like to pay attention to always. I'm selecting the whole thing. I put it in edit mode by pressing tab. I like to make sure that all these vertices are merged by distance, and I can tell that they are. So when they're merged by distance, you can pick one up and it's attached to the faces properly. If it's not, you'll just lift up the face separate from the object. So to make sure that anything that's touching is actually merged, I select all in edit mode, click on mesh, clean up, and merge by distance. And in this case, nothing was separated. It says remove 0 vertices, but if there were things that were not connected, you would have a ton of vertices removed, which helps with optimization, and also it'll help you in the long run when combining these things. So that's good. Next up, we have, just looking at my textures here, I'm going to slide this over a little bit. You'll see everything here is separate. And what we're going to be making specifically today is a fully optimized avatar. In my previous videos, I've made an avatar and then I optimize it. One of the disadvantages of doing that is it can screw up all your materials and stuff. So this time, like if you wanted to do it for like creating content and you want to have a really beautiful looking avatar that you can move around and manipulate, then you wouldn't optimize it. You would just go into a metaverse world solo and not cause any lag. But then you'd have this perfect, pristine, beautiful avatar. But in our case, we're making an optimized avatar that you can go into a world where there are other people. If it's not optimized, you will be introducing tons of lag into the world and killing the experience for other people. And most people probably wouldn't even be able to see your avatar. and I'll show you that in the future. Let's see. So we have each of these has their own material. As you can see, the skirt alone has 3 materials built in. The buckles on the belt, that's a different material. The skin is a different material. The legs are the same as the skin. The balaclava is a different material. Everything is its own material. So all these materials, if I click up here, click on view layer, no, on Blender file, I have 22 materials. I need to bring that down to like a maximum of 4, and we'll try to do that together. And then we have 6 images. I want to try to get this down to 1 image, possibly 2. And let's put this back to view layer. And then we have all these parts, which are the separate parts of the body. We need to join those together, which will reduce the draw calls. And draw calls are like, I guess, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like the way the computer is trying to communicate with the internet on your avatar, like what it needs to context. So if you have 22 materials, it's calling 22 separate materials, which is taxing on the speed of the website. So by making one material, that's one draw call, and then we need to make the whole body just connected. If I selected all, press A, and I join this and I successfully join them all, that would be one solid mesh. Right now there's like a dozen meshes. But before I do that, I want to start to pull out polygons, pull out triangles from this character. So I'm just going to start picking parts of the body. Let's start with the shoes. Hit tab for object mode. But I just noticed here, you'll see the faces are not connecting to the edge of the foot. This is the first time I actually noticed this on my beasts. Like I said, every beast is kind of different. There's like subtle differences that are not the same on everybody. But if you have this instance on you, this is how you fix that. I'm going to go to the wrench over here, and you'll see there's a modifier. And so I'm going to apply the modifier. Oh, you have to do this in object mode. I'm going to apply the modifier. And now if I go to edit mode, we see each individual polygon right up to the edges with no modifier attached to it. So what I'm going to do as quick as I can because of time, I'm going to hit every part of this shoe, and I'm going to apply those modifiers. And if anybody has any questions, shout them out. So some of this stuff can be really tedious, but this is very important. If you don't do this, things will go awry. And what's cool is we're seeing every part of this beast, all the different shapes and textures and materials and stuff. Arms are good, hands, balaclava. Now these glasses, those 2 textures are pretty similar. I'm going to join those. Actually, before I do that, let me apply this just in case. I'm going to select both of those, and I'm going to join them hitting Command J. I believe it's Control J on PC. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I believe that's the case. Balaclava I did. The skin up here needs to be done. Eyelids, let's do one at a time, just in case anything gets screwy. I noticed I've tried to join these by selecting all of them, and it doesn't seem to work all the time. So I do it one item at a time. Looks like that's good. So that should be all of it. And now press A to select all, tab for edit mode. I'm going to go to mesh and decimate geometry. And we're going to do 0.3. Because I wrote that in last time, it remained there this time. So you have to remember that. Like if you decimate the crap out of something and it doesn't look good, you're going to want to correct that the next time you decimate it. And so looking closely, 0.3 decimated, we brought it down from 499 to 151, it looks like, which is pretty good. Just looking really close. Things look pretty good to me at this, but still 151 is very large. So at this point, I'm going to decimate more. And this is where I go individually. And this time, I'm going to do 0.3 unless it looks broken. And just looking closely at this, the shoe looks pretty good. Perfect. You don't need to have this be perfect because really the goal is to try to make things optimized as possible. So you see right down here, this edge of the shoe is a little bumpy. That's because it's over decimated. I don't care about that personally. You can bump it up a little bit, make it zero point 0.5. I think zero point 0.5 is my standard for the second decimation. But if I can get away with zero point 0.3, I'm going to. And knowing that the shoes are not like a focal point, I'm going to do the 0.3 here. So I'm going to go down here now and decimate. And if I can push these even further later on, I will. Let's get these guys, the thread, like technically this threading, I can decimate it, or so that's decimated. That's about, it looks like that's about 7,000 triangles alone right there, I think, or 5,000, 6,000 faces. And I don't know if I need to have the threads on my avatar. That might be something I can sacrifice to save space. Without it, yeah, it's a solid 8,000. It's a solid 8,000 triangles right there. But I'm going to leave it on there for now and consider removing it later. Shoes have been pretty decimated. Socks. Again, select all, switch to edit mode, mesh, clean up, decimate, 0.3. And now we're gonna start getting some clipping here. I think the socks still look pretty fine. So I'm going to, in edit mode, I'm going to select a couple faces, like these three. And then this button right here, the transform button, I'm just going to pull that back a little bit to stop the clipping. So we have decimated socks with no clipping. Let's move on to the legs. The legs and arms are very, very, very important. This one we might not want to go to 0.03, but we'll see if we can. Clean up, decimate, 0.03. See how it messed up the knife there? That's something that either you can go back and fix or you don't do 0.03. So in this case, I'm going to do 0.05 or 0.5. I'm sorry, 0.5, not 0.05, 0.5. So it's like 50% decimation. And it's still a little messed up. So I'd have to go in there and fix that up. For now, I'm going to leave that as is. And then one thing you can do is not select the area with the tattoo. Select the area of the, and you can select it all by pressing L. That selects just that leg. And then I'm going to deselect, holding shift, the areas with the tattoo in it. And so I can decimate, I believe there's no tattoos anywhere else on her legs. Select the other leg, pressing L. And now let's try to clean that jazz up. All right, so that's 0.3. And I'm looking at the shape of the legs to make sure they're not super skewed or anything like that. They seem to be pretty good. Oh, this tattoo got messed up again still. All right, so for now, I'm just going to leave that leg and worry about that later. Skirt. 0.03 looks pretty good. Belt, both. I think the belt is a little tricky. The belt has a lot of triangles on it too. 0.03 looks pretty good. I notice here, I'm going to select these parts of the belt. I press H to hide it. And I notice these pieces here are not visible. And so I just hid, I'm going to hit Option H, or let's have to be in object mode. Option H unhides the belt. I'm going to hide it again. And then I'm going to select these rivets, go into object mode, and I'm going to press L on that one and L on that one. And then L, oops, I accidentally clicked. L and L. So these four rivets, I'm just going to delete. Press X and faces. And they're gone now because they're not visible. So I don't want to use up those triangles if I don't need them. So I'm going to go back to object mode, Option H to unhide. I'm not sure if that's the same command for PC, but Option H is on Mac. Let's see. I can't remember now if I optimized these guys. I think these are a little trickier. 0.3. Okay, good. Get this chest. So we got tattoos all over her. See how far we can get. So these shift a little bit. I saw it move, but it looks pretty good. Just checking to see that the tattoos still look okay, even though they moved. Everything looks pretty good. Yeah, that all looks good. So I'm good with that 0.03. Hands, edit mode, select all, mesh, clean up, decimate geometry, balaclava. This one we have to watch specifically on this mask. I'm gonna hide the sunglasses so we can see this because this mask has scars in it. Heavy decimation could screw that up. So I want to make sure I see what I'm doing here. Also, I want to get rid of this that thing, but let's get this first. So tab, option mode, clean up, decimate. Still looks good. I would love to push this further. So I went back to object mode, back to edit mode so that I can decimate again, just to see how far I could push it. And now you're starting to see it's starting to look low poly, which is great. As low poly as you can possibly get is where we want to go. We're getting a little clipping here, which I'll fix later. But this still looks pretty good. The material is starting to shift, which is fine for our needs because we want as much optimization as possible. The balaclava has a lot, and right now I've brought it down to 1,000 triangles, which is really nice. Okay. Let me unhide the glasses. I'm going to clean up, decimate, 0.3. The glasses definitely get weird looking after a while, and they hold a lot of triangles. So I want to see how far I could push it before it gets insane. Like they're starting to look really wonky now, but in the low poly world, unfortunately, that might be something you have to live with. One thing, I think that's too much, so I'm going to bring it back to that. One thing you can do, you hit Option N and average face area. That starts to smooth out the materials a little bit. That helps improve the look a touch, and it's not so polygony. And I'm going to hide that. I'm going to hide the lenses. Actually, did I even do the lenses? See how much further I could take the lenses. I'm going to get this face. Face is all we're seeing is the eyes, but there's all that face behind the balaclava. So this is where we're gonna like have some fun getting rid of a lot of stuff. So I just decimated it twice at 0.3, which is super polygon, but it looks fine to me. So I'm going to keep it there. And now I'm going to start selecting faces. So in edit mode, let's see, I could do wireframe. I'm selecting face on edit mode up here, and I just changed the viewport to wireframe. I'm looking at the parts of the faces that are not visible. I want to delete all that stuff. So one thing I know just from experience is I have to be careful with this eye because there's triangles there that I thought that I might think are not visible, but they technically are. So for what I'm going to do, I know that everything close to the eye is important. Everything and a little bit further than this eye is very important. So I'm going to do everything else that doesn't fall into that area. And so hiding the mask, select that. This whole mouth, I know that this triangle right here, I want to keep. So all this stuff, I don't need. Deleting it. Deleting that mouth. Deleting all this stuff, all these triangles I don't need. And I'm pressing X to delete, and I'm choosing faces, or edges or faces are fine. It's also good, I think, to make sure you don't have any vertices still floating around, and I have a bunch there. So you can select vertices too. This I don't need. And then I want to just double check in object mode, double check. I could still see the skin here, that I didn't accidentally delete it, and it looks like we're pretty good. So I'm going to hide that, and I'm going to keep going. I got a little close there. That might have been too much, so let's double check. Yeah, see, so I got into the eye there, and we were missing skin there. And I'm glad this happened because I want to stress how important it is that you check that you don't delete too much. And this is also why I prefer to do faces, because I can see which faces I'm actually removing. Because if you deleted all that stuff and then you've gone so far that you can't undo it, and you don't have like a previous save with all the other work that you've done, then you're going to have to rebuild it. So to save yourself time and not have to rebuild these things, make sure you're deleting stuff that is okay to delete. And I believe all this stuff through here is unnecessary. And following my own advice, I'm going to double check. So earlier in the decimation, we had some clipping down here. It's gone because I deleted the skin that was clipping. The eye, let me hide the glasses. Eyes look pretty good, very polygonal, but there's no holes that I need to rebuild. Oh, we got one hole here. But let me rebuild that so you see how to rebuild it. Let's do vertices. Let's see. I'm going to select these two vertices. I'm going to right click. I'm going to choose subdivide. I'm going to take this vertex and then this one, and I'm going to press J to join it. Now I have two triangles there. I want to make sure I don't have any floating. I just added that join line to separate this into two. I don't want to have any floating vertices at all. So now I'm going to unhide just to see where I need to move this, like right around there. Oops. There's my little vertex. I'm going to just pull that skin up. see how much I have to actually. So I filled in that hole, rebuilt it. Again, you don't need to do that if you're super careful about what you're removing. And that's how it looks now. A lot less. Well, I feel like I have some here I could get rid of. Go back to faces. Boom. I'm holding command. If you select one and you hold command or control, it selects all between. Get rid of these. I think I can get rid of those too, but I'm not sure yet. Yeah, oh, I could totally get rid of that. Come on now. So that is a big chunk of triangles removed. And so that head is pretty good. Pretty good now. Got the shirt, which I optimized a little bit. See if I can push it even further. As far as you can go is where you want to go. And I'm just trying to get rid of as much of this as possible. You start to see the textures kind of mess up a little bit. And this is where, again, you can Option N and average the face area. That helps smooth things out a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna hide the glasses, hide the lenses, hide the mask. Let me finish up the eyes while I'm here. Let's get these lids. Mate. Looking at the tattoo to make sure I'm not destroying the tattoo too much. It moved a little bit, but not that much. So I think I'm into that. Get the eyelashes. Oh, this needs to be applied. I don't even know actually. Did I get the eyelashes? Yeah, okay. The eyelids. All right, so now I'm gonna optimize that. Mesh, clean up, decimate. Clean up, decimate. So those still look okay for what I need. I'm gonna hide that. Hide that. Now here we have these big boxes for the white of the eyes, and we don't need them to be full cubes. We just need them to be planes. So let's hide the pupils. I could see this more easily. I'm going to select all these faces, holding shoot.
Hey, excuse me,
Yeah.
Ruston, just another
Yeah.
question. So, what should your triangle and faces count be for a fully optimized VRM?
We want to get it below 10,000 triangles for fully. If you can get it below 20,000, that's decent. But if you want like a perfect avatar that's going to work on mobile and everyone's going to see it right off the bat, you got to get it below, I think, 6,000. So six to 10,000 is the goal, and so that's where you might want to get rid of props potentially. But we still, what's funny is I know that like what it's telling me here right now, we're at 61,000 triangles. It's not always totally accurate when we bring it into world, so we're not going to see what our actual triangle count is until we bring it into the world. But so I'm just going to continue removing anything you can possibly remove. Anything that's unnecessary, you got to get rid of. So I'm going to just start selecting all these guys. Let's see. One of the ways I do this is I want the front. So if I can't see the front, I can delete usually everything on the back. So we got rid of the back there. I want to keep part of the corner to make sure that I have these front faces here. But let's Let's try this. Let me connect these first. So I'm gonna start on the corner. I'm gonna hold Command and click on every corner. And I'm trying to select all of them. There's also another tool that I could use that makes this easier. I'll do it on the next square. I right click and I click dissolve faces, and that turns it into one plane. So all those triangles are now one. And so you could do that on different parts of the body too. The other method of selecting, I could use, instead of the select box, I could use the select circle, and then you just click and drag over what you want to select. That's another quick way to do it. I went a little too far there. So I don't usually use this tool, but a lot of people do. It's very useful for certain things. Um, but now I have like this crazy corner here that's too selected. So I'm gonna unselect that and do it my way. And right click and dissolve faces. Okay, so now I have the fronts. I've tried this thing where I just select the faces and hide those. But if it's missing the vertices on the edge here, then it will also be deleted if I were to select all of this and delete it now, which would be the easy way to do it. And I'm sure there's an easy way to do what I'm trying to do it, but I don't know everything. I'm not a Blender master, but I know how to do things in the most jacked up MacGyver sort of way. So I'm going to try and delete a lot of this manually. And this would actually be pretty good with that select tool. For the sake of time, I'm going to leave some of these here, but if I really want to do it right, I want to make sure it's like most of those are gone. I could always come back in later and take out more triangles, but you get the idea. And of course, again with the vertices too, like if I were to switch to vertices, you'll see a whole crap ton of floating vertices that don't need to be there. So all that stuff. To save time, I'm just gonna not do that right now, so you don't have to watch me spend 20 minutes cleaning that up. Let's go back to object mode, option H, unhide everything. I'm going to hide the glasses again, hide the lenses, hide the balaclava, hide the skin. Let's hide the whites of the eyes. And so these lids they are two-sided, and obviously we don't need to see the inner side. But I'm gonna hide that for now. I wanna get these eyes. This is actually still pretty heavy. So let's decimate it again. Let's see, object edit, let's decimate it again. Got a lot out of there. I might be able to go even more. And I'm still decimating at 0.3, so I'm taking a lot. Right now, this is 128 triangles. I think it was originally like 7,000, so that's huge. And then we don't need this inside area. Let me switch back to select. I'm gonna just select this side, and it only selects what's visible. I'm gonna keep that one, keep that one, keep these, just in case. And then I'm just gonna delete those faces. And so that's 78 triangles now. If I select this one, that's 4,760 triangles. And that was after I decimated the crap out of this a bunch. I might be able to decimate it. I don't know how many times extra I decimated that other one, but let's bring this one down. I think it was about there. And select this side. Wait, let me make sure I think that's fine. I think that's fine. We'll see. So this one has more than this one, so I probably decimated. Let's just decimate it again. All right, so right now overall, it's telling us that we have 58,000 triangles, which is pretty good so far. Unhide everything. I'm gonna look at the eyes to see that they look okay. And there's still, I don't see any gaps, so it looks like that was a success. Let me hide this again. Oops. Now I'm going to get the back of those eyelids. That's only a few, not a lot there. This one I want to keep. I think I can get rid of those. I'm going to keep this one just in case. In fact, I'll keep all these side ones. Just want to delete the back, and it's not that much. It looks like there's 7 of them maybe, but every little bit we can save is good. Select the other one, and I'll just select the back since there's only like 7 of them. Okay, faces. Unhide everything. And so that's a pretty well optimized head right there. And what else do we have? We still have under the shirt all this skin that never sees the light of day, all this beautiful tattoo work that nobody sees because like girls have to wear shirts. But I'm going to the balaclava, the head, all this stuff can be gone. So pretty much everything from here just above the T. And this again, this is one of those things that we have to be careful what we delete. So I see where the T starts, so I want to make sure I'm above it. Faces. Try there. I'm gonna keep these just in case. These. Might have gotten, yeah, we got too much off the arm here, but I can fix that. So one of the things about decimating is it screws up the shapes of some of these polygons, and so you might need to correct some, and you definitely need to do that in the arms. So I'm not too worried about this missing gap yet, because I'm gonna fix all that up anyways. I have a feeling these I don't need. Again, I'm just getting rid of everything I absolutely do not need. And then I'll just double check, make sure that we don't have any serious gaps around the arms. We have that one gap that I need to fix. This looks pretty good. Pretty good. I want to fix this now. So I have 2 little gaps here. Let's hide that. And I'm going to hide the hand. And let's fix this. Easy fix. Luckily, there's no tattoos here. So to fix this, I'm just going to select 3 vertices that form that missing shape, and I'm just going to press F for face. And so again, oh, it looks like I clicked the wrong one here though. I had a 4th one accidentally clicked. Try it again. Oh, it's because I have this still. Face. Face. And there, fix the gaps. On hide, we got full arm, optimized arm, still needs to be fixed up a lot. And last but not least, I believe, are the hands, which have a lot of triangles. Um, and I want to try to decimate these as much as I possibly can. So let's see how crazy they get. And they're going to just get crazier and crazier every time I do this. Like that might be the limit right there. Yeah, see it now, it's like squares. So let's leave it at that. Leave it at that. One thing at this point we can rig, except one thing that gets really screwed up with over decimation are the joints. And the most important parts on our avatars are the elbows and the knees. And so we need to make sure that they have joints there. And so what I'm going to do is select one vertice, and I'm going to hold Shift V, and I'm going to just drag it to where I believe the elbow would be. And I think that looks pretty good. A little bit more. And I have to do that on every part. I want to bring this. I'm going to just do one arm for time's sake. And then I'll repair the other arm on my own time. And you have to keep an eye on what damage we're doing to these tattoos here. I'm going to click this one and this one, and I'm going to hit join, and that'll create a whole line across. And also by doing only one arm, I can demonstrate why we need to do this. Let's see if I can connect these two. Sometimes it's too far, but maybe we'll be lucky. Seems good. That seems pretty good. I'm going to connect these two also, and these two. Just so there's no floating vertices. And let's look at this leg. Yeah, these are funky. So when it's too far, there's an error like that. All right, well, for the sake of time, I'm going to leave this here like that, but you would need to go in and add joints to all four sides right where it would bend. And ideally, you would have 3 rows of vertices, the actual center, and then another row on each side of it all the way around to help with the flexibility of the joints bending. But at this point, I want to rig this up. And so knowing that I'm not doing all of these, I know the weight painting on the arms and these legs are going to be funky and need to be corrected, but this one should be close to good. Close. There's always going to be some weight paint stuff you have to do. Let's go file, export, FBX, desktop, export FBX. So now we're going to go into Mixamo. And here we can upload our character. I'm going to upload the FBX that I just exported. And materials get a little funky sometimes through Mixamo. Yeah, so we're missing the balaclava, the skirt materials, and it looks like there's something funky with that arm that I need to fix, but whatever. I can fix all that. So you have to figure out where the chin is. There's a little bit of guessing here, and this mask is a little tricky too because of the skull. But I'm going to put the chin lower than normal. The wrists, I'm going to put right on the roll of the glove. The elbows, so this is where it would be ideal to line it up right on that line that I made And since there's that little strange line on the skin here, I'm going to assume that that's connecting to my custom line that I added, and I'm going to just put it there. Knees. Um, the groin is a tricky part. We all know that. Um, and I'm still working out the best placement of the groin because it determines where the hips are, and that matters when you have your avatar sitting. So there's just experimentation or reweight painting, trial and error can help you find the right spot. But I'm going to put it higher than I think I normally would, just to see what happens. And then I'll click next. And now it's rigging, and we have to wait for it to finish. And so I guess at this point, if anybody has some questions, spit them out now because we have a little bit of time. I'm going to take a sip of water. I know it's a lot of work, but it's worth it. And there are things coming out in the future that make this whole ordeal a lot easier. And there's my character. The rigging looks pretty damn good right off the bat. See this arm? See the difference between the arms? The one that I added the line actually has an elbow, and the one that I didn't is like a triangle almost. That's why you have to add the lines. And if you add 3 rows of lines, it's even better. And I can see that the socks, the weight painting on the socks are off. There's some gaps in the legs. So those are all things that need to be fixed. Like this probably would look perfect if I had added the lines to the arms. But just for time's sake, I'm going to export this and bring it back into Blender. So now we download FBX binary T-pose, download. I don't know if I get to name it or not. Let's see, it's called F99.1. Okay, so now I'm going to take this character and I'm just going to slide it over because we're going to let her go, and I'm going to import my new fully rigged beast. Import FBX. And so, like I said, it's missing some materials. I'm sure there's an easy way to reattach those materials, much easier than I would do it myself. But I'm going to do it the way that I know. This one's called Tattoo Skin 1. So I'm going to go look for Tattoo Skin 1. This one's probably Tattoo Skin 1. Kurt. It's a Russian name. 131. The belt 131. And that is 131 also. Balaclava, business 02. Assuming this is tattoo skin. There we go. Okay, so we got all the textures back. This gal, I don't need her anymore, so I'll kick her to the curb. All right, so now we have a rigged beast. And I just want to, first thing I ever do is check the weight painting on the balaclava. But let's see. I like to make sure that the whole head is red, and it appears to be pretty damn good. It looked like when I saw the animation on Mixamo, it looked really good to me. What I think you'll find on the regular balaclavas is the chin is not usually red, and you want to make that full red. You want to like adjust the head and neck. Obviously, weight painting is a whole other art form. If you're not experienced with it, it just takes a little bit of practice. But this looks pretty good at this point. Let's export this. I can open up this sidebar. You can press N to open that up. Go to VRM, VRM humanoid. And at this point, we're going to add all the bones to the VRM definitions, I guess. But it's pretty easy because most of it is labeled appropriately. So head goes to head, neck goes to neck. Chest, there is no chest. So it's usually a guess between spine 1 and spine 2. But see, since I use spine, I can't use spine 1 and 2. So I'm going to do spine 1 here. And I'm going to do spine there. Hips. This you got to pay attention very closely. It's easy to get this all messed up. Upper arm, that's upper right arm. So we got right arm, forearm, hand, messed that up. Hand, right upper leg, right leg, right foot, left arm, left forearm, left hand, left upper leg, left lower leg, foot. These optional bones, you want to fill in whatever you can. Right shoulder, left shoulder. Make sure that you got these lined up correctly. Spine 2. This could probably be interchanged spine 1, spine 2 with the other one. If it seems to act funky, then you could try reversing that. If not, just leave it as is. All right. So now I noticed on some rigging, it gave me bones for each finger, but these hands are pretty jacked up. I over decimated these hands too much, but just for the sake of time, I'm going to leave them as is. This hand looks much better. This rigging gave me only one finger bone, the middle finger bone, the most important finger, of course. But I believe Juan has a tutorial on how to add bones to each individual finger if you want to. For our needs today, I'm just going to leave it at one bone. You might be one of the lucky beasts that gets a hand that's fully rigged. That happened to me with my first beast. It showed up with all the bones in the fingers, which is nice. It's not hard to add the bones, but that's a whole other process. So I'm just going to let's call this the middle finger, right? Oh, and then I gotta look at this real quick though. I always never remember which is which. Let me hide. So this tab, left hand. Looking at the name of these bones, this is the left hand bone, left hand index 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's okay. So I'm going to go index 1, 2, 3. 4 is not in there, so we don't need to worry about 4. Right hand index 1, 2, 3. All this other stuff is fine. Close that for now, pressing N. Don't need that. At this point, I can select all, file, export, VRM, desktop, and export, and please work. Please work. Sometimes there's some weird errors, and it's usually because something I did wrong, and it takes me time to figure it out, but I had no errors. I did it all correctly today. So we have a working avatar. So hyperfi.io/AKCB, if you guys haven't seen this yet, this is the world-renowned A Kid Called Beast build in Hyperfi. I built it, one existence, also a beast holder let me use his land to build it here. I built this for you guys to come explore and play with. This is my VRM actually that I made using that same VRM that we're working on now. I made a male version and I added my artifact dunk shoes to it and my own little t-shirt branding and everything. But so now I want to test my new VRM. So I click on this little person here, upload VRM, and there it is, 6.7 megabytes, which is very good. And we have a rating of 2, which is not bad. It could be better. File size is great. Triangles are still heavy, 60,000 triangles. Draw calls 28 because I haven't optimized the materials yet. The bones are perfect, and the bounds is how big the size is perfect. So I need to bring the triangles down and the draw calls down. Let's go back here, try it on. Oh wow, she's huge. Yeah, I forgot I need to like make her smaller. But we can see right now she's moving around. If you look at the arm that I touched, I added the joint to, looks very good. The other arm looks like it's been through an accident or something, and the legs are really crazy too. And so all that stuff needs to be fixed. But all the rigging otherwise is pretty good. Like there's a little bit, if you look at the elbow, it's bending into kind of a triangle shape a little bit. Maybe if I jump, you could see it. That's because I didn't add the 2 rows of vertices around the elbow joint. So that's why we need 3 full vertices around the elbows and knees. And if you don't, then you have these funky looking legs and stuff. But as it is right now, here is a partially optimized VRM. I want to try to bring the materials down. I can show you, like, here's an old VRM I made, rated at 4, 3 megabytes, 9,000 triangles, 1 draw call, and 71 bones. So that's a very good optimized one. Most users will be able to see this avatar on any device, including mobile and VR. So now I'm gonna come back into Blender, and let's see if we can mess with these materials. The thing about materials, I noticed that these glasses lost their transparency, which is great. But that's one of the problems that I wanted to try to fix. So I'm going to go into the matte combiner. Going to generate the materials list. These are all the materials we're using, not also imported in. These are the actual materials on this avatar. And I want to combine them into one. The textured materials like the balaclava, the skirt, and the sunglasses, they have their own issues. And so this is where we have to kind of simplify things. We have the shader editor. We have these extra materials. This is the normal material in addition to the base color. I'm going to actually delete these normals and see how this skirt, if it changes a lot. And it looks pretty good to me. Like, it stays the same. This may not work. I'm actually trying this for the first time to see if this will work. And I'm going to do the same thing to the balaclava, except the balaclava only has this one. I'm selecting all these individual parts now. Shirt. The eyes. I know the eyes get a little funky. Let's see if I can join these. Command J. We lost all the tattoos. Great. Okay. Let me just not do the skin for now. I'm going to move all these into their own folder. That I don't need. Don't need, don't need, don't need, don't need, don't need. Just trying to simplify this now. I have 3 armatures here. Can I get rid of these? Let's see what happens. Boom. Okay. Let's see if I totally destroyed my looks good. Okay, so I deleted those unnecessary armatures. Not sure how they got there. And I want to try to join these. Command J. I find sometimes it works if I do them individually. So right now the shoes are just one item. Which is that? No, this can go. Oh, jeez. I'm selecting basically the clothes first. In my experience, I know that these will work fine joined. Things get funky with the skin and the balaclava and anything else that's textured. But let's see. Okay, we got the skin in. Got the legs in. Belt. Oh, notice when I got the legs, or when I did the skirt, I lost the texture. So let me go back. That one killed the texture. That one kills it. So I gotta pay attention to that. I'm assuming the same thing's going to happen with the balaclava. We lost all the tattoos by joining the balaclava. I'm going to keep that separate for now. The eyes and the skin. Join. About the eyeballs. Those are a completely different texture, so these are going to be tricky, I think. Oh, we pulled it off. Sweet. Cool. So right now we have skin, clothing, legs. Can I get the legs to the skin? So I'm reducing the draw calls right now. Balaclava and glasses. See what happens when I do this. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So right now there's 3 calls here of skin, clothing, balaclava. And I know that the texture on the skirt and the balaclava are troublesome. So I'm going to make sure not to combine those with everything else for now. Balaclava, I'm renaming the material names so I know what they are, because socks. Oh, I should have did this before I joined it all. This is the skirt. Guessing that's the shirt. Black. Blue glass. That's the lenses. Glass frame, off-white socks. Did I do socks? Okay, well, there can be 2 socks. And so now here I'm going to update the material list because I messed everything up. And I'm going to deselect things that I don't want to join right now. I know I don't want to join the skirt because I like the texture. Deselect the skirt. Deselect the balaclava. Tattoos, I want to keep all this other stuff. Everything that's selected is going to be put on one mesh. And so let's try that and see what happens. So I scroll down here, save Atlas to, I'm going to save this to kid called Beast, create Atlas, kid called Beast. And that looks good. So now we had that list of all these materials, and now we've simplified it a lot. If I update the material list, you can see that a lot of these are now the same material. Gloves are all the same material. Everything is on one material. So there's a whole bunch of things I can delete now completely. Let me just try exporting this. VRM. I'm going to call this one 2. And we can compare the differences between the two materials. Hopefully it doesn't. So this is the original. And that one has 28 draw calls. Let's see what my new one has. It should be improved, not a lot better, but it should be improved. 17. So we've knocked out 11 draw calls, which can still be brought down further. We got rid of a bunch of materials there. So I think we have like 4 materials. Let me see if I can clean this up. Blender file, materials, we have 43, but we have a whole bunch here that we're not using. Like this can go, because those are now on the material atlas. These I need one, before can go, this can go, these all go, these go. I need glasses. One, so this can go, yeah, this can go. We'll choose, check someone goes, off my socks. People need that, this looks good, cool. People. And as I'm deleting these, I'm making sure I'm not losing textures. Rivets, I believe I still use. Rope, I don't know what that is. Tattoo skin is on the, all this stuff is gone, I think. Yep. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 materials right now. So it'd be cool to bring that down a little bit. The glasses take up three of them, 2 of them, 1, 2, and then the rivets and the skirt take up 2. So there's just a little bit of back and forth play here to see what materials you can combine. Bring those materials as far down as you can. I would make the glasses their own material. I would make the skirt their own material, and that would make 4 materials, 3 materials: skirt, skin and everything, glasses, balaclava. That's 4 materials. That's pretty good. And then we got the draw calls for everything else that's joined. Let's see if we can join everything now. Oh, and one last, before I do any of that, I'm gonna do this last optimization trick. We're gonna look at texture paint. This is the new UV Atlas map that we combined. The skin, the socks, the hands, and I still need to fix those hands. Let's fix those hands. Back in layout. Let's switch to faces. I'm going to do L here, L here, L here, and L here. I'm going to go to UV editor. And I know it is Atlas 34. And so we have 2 whites here. This is what the material combiner created. If I go into edit mode here, these are the gloves. These are the vertices for the gloves. I'm going to scale that down a little bit. I want to bring that into the white. And now we're using the same exact UV map, same material, and I just changed the color to white by shrinking it down to make sure it stays in the square, taking it off the gray and dragging it into the white. That's how I fixed that. Now I'm going to go to texture paint, and I'm going to make sure the atlas map is selected, hit image, save as. Let's just do PNG. Let's do the desktop so it's easier. Save as image. I'm going to open up. You can use Photoshop or Affinity. I like Affinity a lot, or whatever image optimization site you can use. And I'm going to open that PNG, 774 kilobytes, which is not bad. That's not bad at all. But I'm going to make it a JPEG export. And I'm going to make this, let's do 512. 512 is the best to optimize to. You could try to push it to 1024 if you want, but then I'm bringing that 700 kilobyte file down to 23 kilobytes here. So I'm going to export that to the desktop, save that, go to Blender. This really is the final optimization step. It's making sure that that file is super small. And I'm going to go to shader editor now. And this atlas map here, actually, we can do it here too. Close that. Everything that's attached to that is now invisible. Open desktop. I'm going to find the JPEG that I used. 24 kilobytes versus 774. I'm going to plant that in there. There it is. Looks identical. The shoes are screwed up, so I could try to fix the shoes now. I know they were darker before, and then we just do the same way we did the gloves, basically, which was to select them, tab, select all, UV editor, and it looks like it just moved over a little bit. So there we got the shoes. Also, very, very, very important, before you export to VRM, after you've made your new atlas and have the JPEG set in there, you want to make sure that this one little alpha tab here is removed, this node. You got to remove the alpha from that node. If you don't do this, even though it's a JPEG, it'll automatically export it as a PNG, which will still keep a larger file size. So doing this will fix that and keep the material as a JPEG. And I want to show real quick how to scale it. The size that I personally think is a pretty good size for beasts in Hyperfy. So I'll select everything, I press S, I click the screen so the drop down pops up, and then I do 0.55, 0.55, 0.55, and I've gone way over our time, so I'm gonna wrap it up. But VRM, I'm gonna do 3 again, and on the person, upload VRM, 5.4 megabytes. Look at this real quick. Great. Still triangles are heavy. Draw calls are still heavy, but we're getting there. Little by little, we're getting there. Let me make sure I upload it. Try on. Now she's the correct size. So I have a working VRM. Needs a little fixing with the weight painting. Starts with those joints. Fixing those joints, like I said, really takes care of a lot of future problems that you don't have to deal with. Basically, you want to make those joints after you've done all your decimating. Don't decimate after you make the joints. Otherwise, you're going to have to do some fixing up like I'm going to have to do. and then adjust the weight painting and get those materials as low as possible, get those draw calls as low as possible. Copying and joining parts of the body like the head and the chest. Man, J, that's one less draw call now. The head and the chest. Let's see if that works. That doesn't work. Sometimes it works if you select in reverse order, but at this point you have a working avatar. Needs to be like fine tuned a lot still, and triangles need to be brought down. What you could do is go in there and select parts of the heavier parts. Like these shoes are still very heavy, so you can simplify a lot of these shapes by reducing the triangles there. Same with the chest and skirt. But as it is, 60,000 triangles is a significant optimization compared to the actual asset that you downloaded from the website. So that's an excellent start.